Good morning, and here we go. Aired out on a, what day is it, G? I don't even
Thursday.
friggin' know. Jesus.
Today's Thursday.
Yeah, of course, because you're here.
Yeah.
The final day of the month, buddy.
I know.
Can you believe tomorrow's going to be August 1st?
Yeah. Well,
God.
summer came, summer said hello, and summer's leaving.
Do you think that, though, with how do you base that? Do you base that on the nighttime lows?
No, I just base that on the fact that there's so little sunshine and so much gray.
Well, there's been a pretty good amount of sunshine.
Oh, yeah. It's right up there with, yeah.
Well, right up there with yeah.
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 Yep.
Yepers. Well, I mean, it's been sunny. It
has.
And it's been sunny and hot, and
It was, it was sunny and hot in Philly. I was down in Philadelphia last week, and it was, oh, my God, it was gorgeous.
Was it?
We went outside, and Jed was like, it's so hot. And I'm sitting there with a long sleeve on going, oh, my God, it's gorgeous out.
Wow. It's interesting how some people some people say the end of summer, or the unofficial end of summer, is Labor Day. Mm-hmm. Some people, I'm not going to point any fingers, say the end of summer is when you're coming down the Orange Heights and you see all of the fog sitting down in the valleys.
Yep.
The cool air is sitting down
and
low.
You see a leaf.
A leaf.
Change color.
One.
One is the beginning of the end.
Hell.
Yeah. One leaf starts hell.
I have this tree that is on the other side of the river in my backyard. Uh-huh. And there's this one leaf.
That's it.
And it goes red, not orange.
Yeah.
It goes red. Like the end of June.
Right.
Definitely before the 4th of July. And I have sat out in the backyard. Mm-hmm. It could be 95 degrees. I've been in the river.
Right.
95 degrees, playing with Lily and having fun.
The leaf knows.
The leaf. I'm going to take a picture of the leaf.
Yeah. The leaf knows.
It's there every year. I should just cut it off.
No. That is your sign to get the snowblower out.
Oh, no.
To get everything battened down because it's coming.
I'm distracted by the leaf. I'll be in the river playing with Lily.
Distracted by the leaf.
It's 500 degrees outside, and I will look up, and this thing is looking right at me. And I just feel like saying,
taunting you.
Leaf, fuck off, please.
It's taunting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
65 degrees right now. Showers possible this morning in central Vermont. Cloudy for the rest of the day today.
Surprise, surprise.
Showers more likely this morning than the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. And more south.
Yes.
More south.
Look at you, Mr. Fancy Meteorologist now.
Well, I watched Ben Frechette this morning, and he told us, well, he tells us every day what it's going to be like, and it's always different. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
What I do now is when they tell me what the weather is, I take the opposite, and that's what I know the weather's going to be.
Okay. I understand.
So if they say it's going to be partly cloudy, partly sunny, which one is it? Is it partly cloud? How can it be partly? Come on.
Is it partly sunny cloudy? Or partly cloudy? I go with, I always say partly sunny.
Yeah.
I was doing that back when I was on Froggy. I was like, I'm not going to say partly cloudy.
Right.
The glass is half full.
Yeah, except when the sun doesn't come out, then you lie.
Well, that's true. Tonight, Thunder Road. Go Stephen Donahue. Sorry, just had to say that. Cloudy skies, 50 degrees. That's perfect racing weather right there. Tomorrow, Friday, August 1st, partly cloudy, 76. That's the cool front that is supposed to be coming in. Very welcomed for many of us. Saturday, sunny, upper 70s, and Sunday, sunny and 85. That is a perfect weekend forecast.
Yeah, after 32 weeks, we're finally going to have a dry weekend.
There you go.
However, let's not count out chickens.
Community calendar. I just, before we dive in this morning, I just want to say Courier Park last night was just amazing. To sit there and to listen to my friend Chris Powers, who has just done so much with his career. He just sounds so good. I was so impressed. But also to sit there and mingle with Francine, who loves you, by the way.
Oh,
and she was like, "Where's G?" And I'm like, just because I'm in the park tonight doesn't mean that G has to be with me.
If I'm not there, you shouldn't be there.
Well,
Apparently that's a thing.
Apparently, but I told her that she had just missed you because you were just there, and she was bummed out. But she loves you, and she's listening this morning. But also to see Tim Brick, which I haven't seen Tim in a long time.
Wow, I haven't seen Tim in a long time.
Yeah,
either.
man. Beard's a little gray.
Yeah, well,
on Tim, a little bit.
Welcome to our world.
But you know what? At least he doesn't put the black shit in there and try to fake it out.
Yeah, I used to do that.
You did. I remember that, actually.
I used to color my goatee.
Yeah, I remember that.
And one day I just embraced the real.
Yeah, sure. Well, look at me. I'm embracing the real.
Well, yeah, you don't even shave.
Bob Kershaw also was sitting next to me. Just loved seeing him and chewing the fat with him. And, of course, next to my buddy Andy. And it was just a great night. It was just
good,
amazing. I have on Thursdays, I have a document a working document that is called G's Spot.
Right.
And for those of you that don't know, that's G. His real name is Greg, but everyone calls him G.
Yeah.
This working document, and I'm not, this is the truth.
Yeah.
I could prove it and show it to you right now. This working document of stuff that I want to talk with you about and laugh about is 107 pages.
Oh, my gosh.
Long.
Well, because we always have so much to say. And
There's
so little time.
I know.
But we have a plan for that, too.
We do have a plan for that we need to chew on some more.
Yes.
But yeah, 107 pages, and a lot of it is very light and fun stuff.
And I wish life was light and fun all the time. But
Yes.
it's not.
It is not.
It is not.
Uh,
Hey, the other day I was watching, I didn't see it live, but I watched it right after the interview you did in the park.
Berry City Park.
Yeah. The interview you did with that gentleman. What was his name?
Jarrett.
Jarrett, yes. What an enlightening interview. I was very impressed. Because what you did was you took a book that everybody is judging by its cover, and you open the book and let people see that there's more to something than just what they see when they drive by. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, when people drive by people, they point, they judge, they try to create a scenario in their head of what somebody is like based on what they look like. Oh, they got scruffy pants, or they sit weird, or they have no friends, or whatever the case may be. And then people go home with that knowledge in their head of what they think that person is, and they tell others. Oh, I saw that guy in the park again, or I saw this again. And then they start spreading these opinions of somebody without even knowing. It's like when you go to the library and you're looking at books to take out. Oh, I haven't read a good novel in a while, and you look and you see this cover, and it's like, wow, this looks intense. And halfway through the book, you're like, this sucks. This is boring. The cover was not what the book is. And that's the same with people. Everybody that you see going out there, the people that walk down the street that are talking to themselves, and you're like, oh, look at that person. He's probably high or, drunk or whatever the case may be. And you don't realize that maybe what they're doing is they're talking to themselves because nobody else wants to talk to them. Or maybe they do have challenges, or maybe they just haven't been heard. Okay. And what you did that day, sitting somebody down off the cuff, a lot of people don't do that. They're afraid to do that. They're afraid to walk up to, when I go into New York City, there are people laying on the ground homeless. And I go over and I say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Why are you here? You want to go get breakfast? People don't do that anymore. They're afraid. And so instead of embracing other people, they judge. And what you did was you showed me and a whole bunch of other people that there are people out there that if you just sit down and talk to them, you find out that they have a story and that story is important to them. And that story is what defined them. And it makes you understand and not necessarily be sympathetic or empathetic to them. Because I don't think people want sympathy. I think they want to be treated like everybody else and understood for who they are and accepted for who they are. And what you did that day impressed me because that person was able to tell a story that hopefully others will look at and say, you know what? I totally misjudged. And anybody who persecutes you for doing that, shame on them, because then what they're doing is they're judging you, just as people judge that person. And if we don't want to be judged, we shouldn't be judging. That's how I see it. So for anybody who negatively commented about your performance, I say, shame on them. Because everything you do is from the heart. Everything you do. You don't have a mean bone in your body. Well, you do towards me. Okay, you like to be mean to me and pick on me. And then I get your wife to tell you to fuck off. Okay, but when you sit down with somebody in Montpelier, or you sit down with somebody who is misunderstood, or you sat down with somebody here who everybody knows is a druggie and knows that that person is aggressive out there, but you wanted to get that person's story so that we can judge these people based on their story that they told, not based on what other people told us. Because people have told me about that guy that was here and how he attacked an old man and how he's aggressive with panhandling and how he does drugs. So I immediately, based on everything I've heard about this person, I immediately judged them. And that was wrong until you had them here. And I was able to see the pain that person's going through and the way he's dealing with it in such a negative way. And then to see him in the park a little bit later getting stoned again, I was able to create that decision and my opinion based on facts that I saw and heard from the person that you exposed so that everybody would understand. And then we can formulate our own educated opinion. So what you did out in the park that day, sitting that person down and say, there are people out there that say, oh, you kept them from a warm breakfast or whatever. If that's what you feel, hey, we'll take them out for a hot breakfast. This isn't about keeping somebody from their food. This is about somebody who's so misunderstood. And people thought he was a druggie or a junkie or an alkie, when all he did was have a physical condition that is literally controlling his life from a lifestyle he used to have. Okay, he taught us something. He taught us that one decision can affect your entire life. And he made one decision that he thought was, what's the big deal? And the big deal is it affected his life for the rest of his life and turned him into somebody that people point at and stare and judge instead of looking at it and saying, wow, I was wrong for judging because I didn't know the story. So because they're uncomfortable with their judgments, they're going to project that now to you that it's your fault because you went out and exploited him. Meanwhile, you still text him. You guys still chat. You're making plans to go out to breakfast together because you want him to know that maybe Barry doesn't like him, but there's somebody in Barry that's on his side. And if he needs services and help, you being a friend or somebody that understands him can, instead of throwing it at him, which will make him feel bombarded and judged, by being somebody that understands him and wants to be there for him as a human being, you might be able to slowly ease him into some kind of programs and things to help him. Because when you go up to somebody who's suffering and you say, I know how to help you, they're going to turn you away. They're going to say, who the hell are you to judge me? But if you become somebody they can trust and like, and then you say, I heard of this place where we can go and Bubba, you want to go, he may be more receptive to help. So good for you. Good for you for that program. And shame on anybody who judges that. And for those people that commented negatively about the person and you're getting the flack for it, shame on them too. If you don't like what somebody said that commented in your podcast, if you don't like what they said, address it to them. Don't yell at you. You can't control what's coming in on the comment. You can only delete it afterwards. So I was really impressed because when I first saw it, I was like, what is this crap he's doing? What's on? And then I listened and I was like, wow, I've never seen this guy. But now if I see him, I won't be so quick to point or chuckle or laugh or make fun of. I'll say, wow, there's that guy. Good for him. He's still going strong. He's still persevering. He's still trying. So kudos to you for that. Kudos to you for that.
Last night I was sitting at the park with my friend Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for saying that, G.
It's the truth. And you know me. I don't kiss ass, and I don't say things to make somebody happy. If I didn't like something you did, first of all, I wouldn't do it on Air It Out because it's inappropriate. I would pull you aside and say, not a good move, or not a good look on you. That was a good move. And that was a really good look on the person.
My friend Bob last night was sitting next to me and said, I've seen that guy many times and drew some conclusions.
Yep.
But didn't know anything about him until I watched and listened to his story. It was very brief. It was only like
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing about our society. They say, oh, Barry, it's such a close-knit. We're all tight. We're like family here. We protect our own. We're all about our groups and all this stuff. That's bullshit. Okay? I call bullshit on that. Because if we're all so tightly grouped together and, I don't want to live in a city. Nobody knows you in the city. Here we know each other. We say hello. We shake hands. We get together. But bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Okay? Because people in Barry are like everywhere else. We all judge. We all stab each other in the backs. We're all sneaky. We all have our own lives. And if their lives don't match our lives, we push them out. Okay? So there's something to say about small towns and communities, both plus and minus. The plus is if we have a flood, everybody comes together in this small community to help each other. Okay. But the minus is if you do something, someone's up your ass judging you and talking behind your back and saying things that are inappropriate. Okay. I'm a city guy and I like being in the city because I'm there in the city with me and my friends or my world. And nobody else knows me, nobody knows my business, and nobody judges. Okay? Nobody drives past my house and says, that's the gay couple's house. Here they do. I've had people say to me, I know where you live. A gay couple lived there and then you guys bought it. So it must be the gay house. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Okay? And if I say something wrong on the air, everyone in town's going to judge me. And I say, you know what? To those who don't judge or those who get all the facts first, good for you. But for those of you who judge behind people's back and then go to church on Sunday, okay, and profess the word of God, and then use this social media to hide behind, you cowards. It's so easy to type something because you send it and you forget it. I challenge people who have something to say to come sit here and say it to the face. Enough of this back talking, back and forth. He said, she said. Somebody told me something the other day and I was like, oh, you saw that? No, my friend's sister saw it and told me, and now I'm telling you. I was like, oh, who the fuck is your friend's sister? People, go back to when you were in junior high or elementary school, the game, telephone, where you started here and said one phrase, and by the time it got there, it was totally different. And we all laughed. Oh, it's funny, it came out different at the end. But that was a lesson being taught that we were too ignorant at that age to understand. And that lesson is, if it's hearsay, and that's why the courts say it's hearsay, you can't admit it into evidence, because if it's hearsay and not from the person's mouth, then shut the fuck up. Leave people alone. So you've been getting hits for being honest and real, for bringing it from the person's mouth to everyone's ears. And you've gotten persecuted for that. Why? Because the guy's breakfast went from warm to cold? Come on. Is that all you people can complain about? All right. Let's talk about the facts. The facts are, here's a person who needs help, who needs understanding, and needs not to be talked about behind their back. And you showed us, you educated us on the fact that people have stories. Okay, I have a story. I have a very deep story, a painful story. I hide my story with humor. Okay, but I have a very serious side of me. And that serious side is tired of everybody persecuting everybody else. Well, you know what? If you like her, I can't be friends with you because I don't like her. I had somebody who was going to buy something from me online, and I put it on hold and negotiated a price and everything. And at the last minute, the person ghosted me because they're friends with somebody else who doesn't like me. So that person told them about me, and I lost the sale. How fair is that? Okay, so before you judge other people, check yourself. Look in that mirror, because some of you put on clothes and you come out and we wonder, have you looked in the mirror yet? But maybe they're just happy wearing those clothes. That's how I see it. Sorry if I'm preaching, people, but it burns my bubble when somebody good is persecuted for doing good instead of understanding the person. If you got the balls to persecute them online, come on in here. Let's hear your phrase. Let's hear what you got to say. But be ready. Be ready. Because we'll call you out on your bullshit. Well, now that everybody's down and dumped.
No, you know,
just keeping it real,
Yeah.
just
and
airing it out.
and that's
It saddens me because what it does is it brings you down, and then you go on the air and you're not feeling what you need to feel to do your job. And your job is to educate, to teach people about the world, to introduce humor, okay? Because there's not enough laughing in this world. With everything that's going on in politics and in the government and the unstableness of the left and the right and the woke and the not woke and the gay and the straight and the blacks and the whites and all this stuff, with all this mess, you get up every fucking morning and you sit there at your desk and you entertain, you say funny things, you give news, you give information, and you introduce us to people out there that we've only seen and judged. And the more we see what you show us, the more we're learning that maybe we judged just a little long. And I love you for that. Okay? And that's why we're such good friends. Because we can laugh and make fun of things, but deep down inside, our heart is as pure as it can be when it comes to other people.
Tuesday morning, if folks haven't had a chance to go and see that brief, I don't want to even say podcast episode, because I mean,
you were walking down the street, you saw this person, and you knew people were talking about him, and you just wanted to know, do you have a story? And the person said yes, and you said, I would love for the world to know. And he says, hook me up. So you did.
the comments.
Oh, they're probably persecuting me.
No. The comments from that interview with Jarrett, some of them are unbelievable. I mean, I'm being beat up for not for letting his pancakes get cold.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his breakfast there.
But he was able and willing.
The comments about, I hope you got him a hot breakfast afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, said on social media because they don't have the balls to come in here and say it. Okay? They don't have it. It's so easy to say something on social media. It's so easy to text somebody, fuck you, send, block. So what you did was you made yourself feel better. You patted yourself on the back by saying, fuck you. You sent it to somebody to upset them, and then you blocked so they can't say anything back, because those are the bulls you got. Shriveled up little raisins. Because you can't even walk with a set of bulls. So if you got something to say it, and then face it. Okay, if I'm going to have an issue with you, JD, I'm going to say it to your face and give you the opportunity to retort.
These comments are on that Tuesday episode with Jarrett. Very easy to go back and rewatch, and the comments will come up as this 20-minute chat with Jarrett plays. Right. I want to hear what my listeners, what my followers of Aired Out have to say about this.
Right.
I really care what they have to say about it.
And the thing is,
I wish everyone would go and read some of these comments.
And the thing is, if they have something negative to say, then come down here and let's talk about it like adults.
I just
look, you can't please all the people some of the time, or you can please all the people some of the time, but you can't please them all. Okay? Whatever that phrase is, you all know what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm a little thrown off this morning because JD put me in a corner. And I'm not used to being in a corner. I'm used to taking up space. I'm a skinny guy that needs a lot of space. Okay? You're a fat guy and you got all the space.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, am I wrong?
You're 100% right.
I'm very excited
Les-
about when we go on vacation because of the fact that you're going to take that shirt off in public, and I am going to have to probably put lemons on my eyes because it'll be just as painful. So,
Have you ever seen me with my shirt off?
how could I not? You do it all the time. You're always lifting your shirt up. You're putting on fake belts and taking your shirt off, and it's like a shirtless gnome.
When we're together on vacation, you
I'm going to be scared.
might even see the whole full birthday suit.
No. Speedos?
Birthday suit.
Ooh, God help us. Anyway,
About a year ago,
I digressed. Sorry.
about a year ago, I was up at Maple Fields, and I was getting gas and I was getting a sandwich, and this guy I met, and we started chatting. He was holding up a sign, and instead of give him $1, I just asked him, "What's your story?" He wasn't expecting me to ask him that.
Right.
"What's your story?" And he was kind of a young guy, and took his sign down, and he sat and chatted with me. Immediately, I've got people texting me saying, "Don't believe everything that he's telling you."
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And I also don't need to be reminded that I shouldn't believe every word that's coming out of
Right.
somebody's mouth.
Right. Well, that kind of insults you. Because
Yeah.
it's saying that you're not smart enough to decipher.
I'm 54 years old, gee.
And you've talked to many, many people over the years.
There
and
have
you've
been-
learned to weed through shit. Okay? And that's the other thing is...
But I still want them to speak,
Right.
even if they're telling me something that's
Well, that's...
a half truth
Right.
or
See, and that's
whatever.
that's the beauty about us as individuals is we can hear a story and decipher for ourselves what we feel
Sure.
may be true in that story and what may not be true in that story. But it doesn't mean we're right.
Yes.
Because I've heard stories that are so outlandish, and I'm like, yeah, right. And then the person pulls out a medal and shows me that they actually got it for doing that, and I'm like, ooh, egg on my face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you don't need to be told at your age what to believe and what not to believe. That's up to you to decide.
Right. Immediately after I said to him, "Do you want to share your story?" And he said, "Yes. Meet me here tomorrow." Right there. It was another park bench.
Yep.
Meet me there tomorrow, and I'm going to share my whole story, which he had shared with me off the air
Right.
in our conversation.
Right.
But then he said he was willing to share it on the air.
Right.
The next day, I'll never forget this. This was a year ago. I put that interview, which for his convenient time was 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I put that interview ahead of attending Lily's softball practice.
Which is something you don't usually do.
I never have done.
Right.
And he didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
I waited for him. He still didn't show up. By the time I packed up my stuff and drove away and raced to Lily's softball practice, which was about 40 minutes away, I got there for like the last 10 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a local police officer who texted me saying, the guy's a con, his story's not real. Literally, his house, I'm quoting here, his house did not burn down. He doesn't have a house.
Right.
You're being conned. People are protective of me that way.
Right.
But I also lost. I don't know if. Listen, man, the older I get, the more I am having a clearer definition of what a friend is.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say everybody's my friend. But that's a very, the more time that goes by in my life.
It's a very broad, ignorant statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
That word is, has a different meaning now for me.
It's precious.
It is precious. There's some separation going on.
Yes.
There's acquaintances.
Yes.
And there's friends.
Yes.
You're a friend. I can call you at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I need you here right now.
Right.
Or I need to drop Lily off right now. And I've got those friends.
Yeah.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
One of them's listening right now. But there was a lady that was a very close acquaintance, I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
that was listening that day when this guy didn't show up,
Mm-hmm.
and unloaded and shamed me for, and here's the word again, I'm going to use it, exploiting this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being so taken back by that. And we got into a personal text, and I said, please, let's get together so that we can talk about this face to face.
Right.
And it was, I thought I knew you. I can't believe that you would exploit someone like this. Shame on you, blah, blah, blah. You're better than that. I mean, it was really like, wow.
Right.
I addressed it on the air several times. And I'll say this again. Gee, I'm at the cusp of 10,000 followers.
Yep.
I would rather have 1,000. I'd rather have 500 followers that really know who I am and what my intentions are and where my heart is, than 10,000 who don't know me or kind of know me or think that they know me.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at, man. It's
Right.
like
Well,
I just my intentions are good.
mm-hmm.
They are not to create sensationalized content.
Right.
My intentions are for people to share their stories. We all have stories.
Yep.
I see people walk up and down this street, North Main Street, constantly. I have for 8 years.
Right.
Businessmen, briefcases, and folks that are pretty rough around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them has a story.
Yes.
Not one of them is perfect. As a matter of fact, we're all walking around with probably more faults than anything else.
Right.
My intentions are for others to share their stories to enlighten me, just like Jarrett did on the park bench the other
Right.
day. I didn't know what his story was. He admitted that he was being stupid
Mm-hmm.
and decided to do something very dangerous, and in a quick decision that lasted probably less than a minute, he's got a traumatic brain injury that's impacted the rest of his life.
Right.
He's lost all of his friends,
Mm-hmm.
his family, and he's alone on a park bench in Barrie.
Right.
His story stayed with me. It got under my skin. It stayed with me. It impacted me.
Right.
And I even said to him on the air, I'm going to be thinking about you for the rest of the day.
Right.
Your story has resonated with me. It is my hope, G, that when others can share their stories, that it will resonate with my audience,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even with me.
And it helps to educate your audience so they're not quite as judgmental. And I find that people that are insecure or people who don't have enough fulfillment in their life spend a lot of their time judging others so that makes them feel better. And that's sad. That's sad. I understand it gives them the power they need,
Right.
okay? Because, well, my life sucks, or I don't have a girlfriend, or I don't have a nice house like this person. And that's the other thing that makes me laugh. When somebody has something nice, people who don't have mock it, okay?
Yeah.
And it's like, really? But in the flip side, people that have things nice mock those who don't. And I say, why? If you've earned what you've got, then own it, okay? But you don't have to compare your apples to somebody's bananas, okay? And when you have somebody like this gentleman who's sitting on a bench, okay, because he has no friends, he has no anything.
Well, connection to his community,
Yeah.
engagement.
Yeah.
It's not there.
And so we feel bad for this person now that we understand the situation. But how do we deal with our uncomfortableness? Let's attack you, or let's attack somebody else. Shame on you for exploiting this person. You didn't exploit this person. You asked this person, would you like to share your story? This person, being an individual, has the right to say yes or no. And this person looked at you and said, absolutely.
And that's when I turned on the microphone.
Right. because this person wanted you and everyone you reach out to stop fucking judging him and see him as not somebody with a TBI or somebody who drinks too much or somebody who does drugs. He wants you and the world to see him as him. And if you can't accept him for him, then step the fuck away and keep your mouth shut. You don't have to like everybody that you see, and you don't have to approve of everybody. But if you don't like it or you don't approve of it and you have nothing productive to do to help, then just shut the fuck up. Keep it to yourself. You know, when I was a teenager, high teens, graduating high school, me and my friend Jimmy, best friend in the world at the time, we'd go to New York all the time to have Burger King. I know it sounds weird. We lived on Long Island, and we would literally, after school, get on the Long Island Railroad and go all the way into the city, 35, 40-minute train ride. Get out at Penn Station, go upstairs, go 1 block, have burger at Burger King, and then get on the train and come back, just so we could say we were in the city. Okay? And what used to burn his bubble was, because it was him, my time together, was when I'd stop and talk to somebody that was sitting on the ground with cardboard underneath them and a big pull-along basket filled with empty bottles and with junk and stuff that they perceived as important to them. And I would stop and I would talk to them and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And they'd say, can I have some money? I'd be like, no, I'm not going to give you money, but I'll buy you a burger. I'll get you a shake. And my friend Jimmy would always be like so annoyed. And one time when we got back to his house, we were hanging out, and I said to him, what is your damage? Every time we go to the city and I decide I'm going to talk to somebody, you get annoyed. Why? Well, you don't know what they could be dangerous. They could be whatever. And we go in to have a good time, not for you to be holier than thou and this and that. And I said to him, all I'm doing is talking to a person. You're turning this into an event. And all I'm doing is talking to somebody. Just saying, hey, I see you. And sometime I buy them a burger. And sometimes they get a little loud, and so I would just walk away. But they're a person. So what did you do so wrong on that Tuesday, JD?
I allowed his pancakes to get cold.
Yeah. And in the meantime, exploited and exposed this person for knowledge so the rest of the community would leave him the fuck alone. Okay? The rest of the community would understand instead of judging blindly. And if somebody really, really, really wants to protect that person, go talk to that person yourself. Offer that person assistance. Take them out for lunch. Bring them a cold drink. Don't hide behind this and judge you. Take what you saw and say, wow, this person really is just a person. And if you want to help, don't criticize. Help. That's my interpretation. Okay, we walk the other way when we see weirdness. Somebody's talking to themselves in the street, so you cross and walk on the other sidewalk. Why? It's just a person. Oh, they say to their kids, don't look. Don't stare. It's not polite to stare. It's also not polite to ignore and mistreat people. And that's what you're doing when you walk the other way, instead of acknowledging and just saying good morning as you walk by.
Look, I'm going to be really straight with you and
Well, you are straight.
my listeners, followers. Some of the comments. Rex's, Janine's, Karen's. I mean, Rex's comment I deleted.
Right.
And Rex is a friend of mine.
Right.
And if he wasn't having surgery right now, he'd probably be here. But if he's up for it, I'll have him on the air tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about this.
Right.
About his
And
comment.
just because they're good friends of yours doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say.
No.
Hey, you and I have been friends forever. I consider you like a brother, okay? And I consider your wife like my best friend. But I don't necessarily have to agree with you about it. And when I don't, I say to you, I call you out. I say, bullshit. And then you explain, and I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Still don't like it. But you're still my best friend. You know what I'm saying? When you're married to somebody, you can love them to death for the rest of your life, but you don't have to like them all the time. Same thing with your kids. You don't have to like people all the time. But if the foundation of the relationship is there, then the little things can be fixed. And if they can't, then you reassess your relationship.
This right there, what you were just talking about, is going to be a subject that I am going to unbox one of these days. It's a separate subject from what we're talking about this morning. But I like to think of it as a box where I'm putting, they're all separate boxes, but I'm putting thoughts and thoughts and thoughts, feelings into that box.
Yep.
And I am going to be opening that at some point. I've come close a few times, but I'm still putting more things in the box. Loyalty, friendship, devotion. You know, I've had people say to me, and I'm sure you have too, I can't believe you're friends with that guy.
Yep.
I can't believe you're friends with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe you're friends with Rex. I can't believe you're friends with Dwayne. I can't believe you're friends with G. I could list off 10 more off the top of my head right now.
Yeah. And my question is, why do you have to believe anything? What business is it of yours to believe who he's friends with?
I have friends, I have family who screw up badly all the time.
Yep.
All the time. Some do publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Some do privately.
Yep.
But I ask myself, yes, they screwed up. Yes, they did this. Yes, they did that. But are they, even if they fucked up really bad, are they loyal to you?
Right.
If you need them, will they come running?
Right.
That's the question that I ask myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know who those friends are.
Yes.
And if they say something or do something, publicly or privately, that is bad in the eyes of our society, unjustified, inappropriate.
In the eyes of society.
In the eyes of society, I still ask myself, I may say privately to them, dude, you really fucked up. That's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
What you said, what you did, whatever.
Right.
But you're still my friend.
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to be loyal to you as my friend.
Right.
That's a whole nother subject. I
Right.
am going to unbox this one, and it's going to be big. I would
It's-
love for you to be on the couch on that one.
Oh, I would
'Cause
be.
it's
I would love
it's
to.
really gonna. I am gonna
You know
like.
what makes
I'm
me
gonna be so transparent.
right,
You
and
don't
you're
even
going to
know.
get judged for that
Of
too.
course, I am.
Okay, and it's funny when you talked about the box. When I met Jed 30 plus years ago, he used to ask me because Jed had stories too, because go figure. And he would ask me, "How do you deal with all this shit? How do you deal with all this anxiety and this, coming out being gay and having kids but telling them that you're not with their mom anymore? How do you deal with all these emotional things that go on in your life?" Which was a pretty intelligent question.
You just lost a lot of people right there. They're like, what?
Yeah.
That how you got to go with your story one of these days.
Yeah.
We need to air that out.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
And I said to him something I learned years ago. And I learned it in therapy classes when I was learning social work and stuff. I take this shelf in my head, and this shelf has many, many layers. And on that shelf is a bunch of boxes. And I put experiences, lessons, heartbreaks, anger, laughter. I put them in their compartments where they belong.
Compartmentalizing.
Right. And when I need to draw on them, I draw on the librarian side of myself and I go through these boxes and I'm like, oh, there you are. And I pull it out. And I use that to get me through something. And when I'm done, I put it away. Because what happens is we all keep this shit on us. And we walk around angry and grumpy. Okay? And we take it out on others. I've learned to put it in places. And if I'm going to take it out on somebody because that box, when I opened it, is overwhelming me that day, I tell them in advance, I'm not in the best of moods today. Please don't be offended if I'm not what you need today. Because I recognize that I opened a box that's going to be difficult to put away. And sometimes that box is open for 2-3 days. And I'll be honest with you, I opened a box about a month and a half ago, and it's been open for a month. And my neighbor got the brunt of it because I cut her out. I stopped talking to her. I treated her like I never knew her because I was dealing with my own shit and I didn't explain that. So when I finally went over a month later to explain to her what I did, what had happened, she was crying and she was in tears because she said, "You hurt me. You made me feel like you were done with me." So that was another thing I had to put in that box because that box is what created this. And I had to take her hurt, I had to work through it, and then I put it in the box and finally closed the box. But guess what? She forgave, even though she didn't know why until I told her. She said, "Don't do that again because I can't come back from that a second time." And I said, "Fair." And we, from that moment on, went back to exactly the way we were before. We were very friendly and fun and joking and all that stuff again. So we all have those boxes and we open them up, but please, if you're going to open it up, it's going to pull you down. Let people know you're there. You're in that spot.
I don't know if you and I have been friends for a long, long time.
Too long.
I don't know if we have even gone down that road.
We haven't. We have. We've gone to the road where we don't talk for months.
My God.
Months. Because you have your life, I have mine. I don't want to deal with shit. You're not in the mood to start something. So we just didn't talk for months. And then we see each other somewhere and it's like we just talked yesterday.
Yes.
And that's a friend. See, a friend doesn't have to be up your ass 24/7.
Right.
But if I call you after 4 months of not seeing you and I say, I need help, you're like, I'm there. I'll help you, G. But we're going to talk about why we haven't been talking, too. And we air that out. Okay? And that's the people that you want in your life. And those people that hide behind their social media and their judgmentalness, my question is, what made you the authority to correct me? This is my world. This is my box. I can only fix what's in my world, and I can only accept what's in my world. I can't fix the whole world, but I can fix my corner of it. And sometimes my corner of the world is just me alone.
Right.
And when I feel that I need to be alone in that corner, I let people know so as not to hurt them, like I did to my neighbor when I hurt her. And I hurt her husband. Her husband came over for something, and he went back and said, I'm not going back over there. I was treated like I'm an idiot. And I didn't mean that. I just was so engrossed in my little corner that I dragged people into my corner that was not in a good spot. Okay, yet I'd come on the show every Thursday and clown around and be funny because you know what? I know how to compartmentalize and be appropriate. And when I'm not appropriate, I know that I had to go to her and I had to put my head down and say I'm sorry. Because if you don't recognize your faults and you don't own them, then you're just as much of a loser as the people on the internet that are talking behind your back.
There really is something to be said when you have a friendship like that that has substance.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I are both similar creatures in that if we have an acquaintance or even, there's a fine line between an acquaintance and a friend.
Right.
A friend, in my...
It's a very dark, clear line, though. Some people don't see it, but there is a line.
There's a line. I've had I'll say relationships where when something starts to go wrong, I take a step back and sometimes 4 or 5 steps back. Maybe a week, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, whatever.
Right.
And you already know, you know me so well. Sherilyn knows me. I process things at a snail's pace.
Yep.
And I will digest things very slowly. And I will try to get up to 40,000 feet and look at that relationship and construct in my mind and in my heart the value of it, what it brings to me, what I've received from it, and whether it's worth dying on that hill for.
Right.
Whether it's worth going over to the neighbor's house and knocking on the door and saying, hey, we need to sit and work this out. Regardless of how badly your feelings were hurt or whatever. If the fact that you went over there and did that, took that step, that speaks more volumes than anything. If you and I got into a massive fight,
because you were wrong and I was right,
which is normally the case.
Yep.
And you showed up at my house, just the fact that you're there, you don't even literally have to say a word. Just the fact that you got in the car and you came to my house is massive to me.
Right. Because you have to own it.
How many times, and I don't want to get too private here, but how many times has that happened in my relationship with Sherilyn? I could never count.
Right.
In 20 plus years
Right.
where she has demonstrated that.
Yep.
And she's done that more than I have.
Well, it's part of growing. It's part of growing and growing up. You know, we all worry about ourselves. But part of growing up is realizing that there's other people out there that are just as affected by your behavior. People always say, well, you need to understand, I was not in the best. I don't need to understand that. Why do I need to understand that? And that's what she said to me. Okay, and I love Tracy, and Tracy loves me, and we're very close. But one of the things that I don't like to use is the word but behind an apology. People do it all the time, and as soon as they do it, I tell them your apology is not accepted. Because if you're going to say to me, I know I treated you badly, and I feel so bad about that, but you need to understand, I don't need to understand. You need to explain, okay? And when I spoke to her and I said to her, you just need to understand where I was at, she says, why? You didn't treat me as a friend enough to explain where you're at, so now you want me to understand it? And that was very fair. You know, and when I saw her tearing,
yeah,
I said to myself, wow, the power you had to hurt her is not right.
But it's the relationships that we care about that are worth having that interaction with.
Yeah, but they always say the ones you love are the ones you hurt the most.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily what you said or did to them. It's how you treated them, because you trust them enough and you trust your relationship enough with them that you could treat them badly.
Sure.
And that's not how it goes. Okay?
Right.
When you care that deeply about something, you have to cherish that. You don't abuse it, you cherish it. Okay? And those who find it worthy of them to judge. Wow. Wow. Are you that holier than thou? You know, I mean, I don't want to get religious or anything, but he who throws the first stone should be innocent. And there ain't none of us that are innocent. Okay? So stop throwing stones and try understanding. And if you don't like something, confront the person. Honestly, not accusatory. Honestly. Hey, I need to understand what you were thinking because I'm seeing it a little differently. And then give you the opportunity to explain. And if they still don't like it, they can say, I still don't agree with you. And that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
You don't have to please everybody.
I would do anything if some of these individuals who are upset that I was not considerate of the fact that Jarrett was trying to eat his breakfast, that they would come on the air with me.
Yeah. Not to be persecuted, not to be picked on, but to share their views so we can air out and hopefully come to an understanding.
Sure.
And if we don't come to an understanding, that's okay too. We don't always have to leave a discussion feeling good.
This is true.
You've got governors and senators who are doing open forums, okay, where the community comes and they talk about things that are pissing them off, and the governors answer them, and the people get pissed at them and stuff like that, and they leave annoyed. But at least things were said and heard.
Yeah.
But if you leave there and you're still angry, then you didn't accomplish your goal.
Yeah.
Okay, then you left there still stubborn without understanding. If you understand someone else's view but you don't agree with it, then you don't leave angry.
It's astonishing to me how we're all guilty of, all of us, man, are guilty of misunderstanding others, misunderstanding their intentions. I've done it.
We all have. And what we've learned is ask more questions
Yeah, right.
before you judge.
I'm going to just tell you how it is here. I was really discouraged this morning when I read some of the comments about that Tuesday park bench chat with Jarrett. I was discouraged, and I still am. I really am. And it makes me want to ask the followers of Aired Out, the people that are watching and listening right now, what is it that you want from this podcast? What is it that you want? Do you even want a podcast? Do you want this experience? Do you want me to, it's like I feel like sometimes I can't win. It's like I get people that's like, JD, you got to go out more in the community. I want to hear, more deeply organic stuff, more personal stuff. I want to hear from this business owner. I want to hear from that guy. I want to know his story. I mean, I hear that all the time.
Right.
And here's the thing, and you know me, I love having conversations with people. I love having conversations with strangers.
All walks of life. You live for that. There are
love
times when we're out and I'm like, could you shut up and let's go already? Because you're talking to somebody about something that has nothing to do with anything.
But when I do that,
you get persecuted.
I get persecuted from some people who they either don't know me or they've never followed this podcast. They don't listen to it regularly. And they just don't know me. And that's fair enough. I can't expect everyone to know me. But to judge me for trying to bring light to a story about someone who is judged is counterintuitive.
Listen, I'm going to say this to you, friend to friend, okay?
Am I wasting my time?
No. You're allowing a couple of ignorant, I'm not saying uneducated, but they're behaving ignorant. You're allowing a couple of ignorant comments to rule something that you've created that almost 10,000 people are following, okay? That's like saying the baseball coach told me I suck, so I'm never going to play baseball again. That's one man's opinion, okay? If everybody messaged you and said, shame on you, then I'd say you need to reevaluate the approach you took. Not necessarily change, but reevaluate. But what you did was you got a message from a few people, an inappropriate message, actually, because that's something that should have been face-to-face. Again, long text hidden behind social media, okay? Because they don't have the cojones to just contact you and discuss it and understand what your thought process was and you understand what their thought process is. If you persecute somebody on social media, what you're basically saying is, my opinion counts, yours doesn't. I'm right, End of story. And nobody is ever 100% right. I could tell you the sky is blue, but guess what? There may be an off-white cloud over there. So you say, well, it's kind of cloudy. And I'm like, no, the sky is blue. But you're seeing another facet of the sky. Well, these people are telling you that you're wrong without seeing all the facets of what you do and why you do it. And you're giving them credence to control.
I understand what you're saying, Chi, but for me, it's discouraging when I can have a conversation like this with someone. There's so many takeaways from it.
Yep.
But to see that the biggest takeaway that some people got was that Jarrett's pancakes were cold.
Right. And like I said,
that's discouraging to me.
No, it's ignorance.
I'm sorry.
You're looking at ignorance,
I'm
JD.
sorry that I allowed his pancakes to get cold.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I've already told Jarrett I'm sorry, and he wrote back and laughed.
Right. He made the conscious choice.
I'm going to buy Jarrett breakfast. I'm also going to go over and have breakfast with him one of these mornings over at Enough Ministries.
Right.
It'll be hot. If I chat with him on the air or off the air, I'll make sure he's had his hot breakfast first. I'm sorry that I got caught up in my own curiosity of wanting to hear his story, and I put that ahead of his breakfast. I should have allowed him to have his breakfast first, and I'm sorry. Why are you shaking your head at me?
Because there's no apology necessary. The man laughed at you when you told him you were sorry his breakfast was cold. Okay? The only thing you should be
bigger here.
The only thing you should be concerned about was yours and his emotional feelings during your conversation. And what he took out of it was he got to air out the truth for people. And what you got out of it was you were able to give another human being a chance to be heard and understood. And you're stuck on someone else's concern for a cold breakfast. And my answer to that is,
you're right.
My answer to that is that person who is so upset that he got a cold breakfast and who is preaching holier than thou, where the fuck are you in the park feeding him? I haven't seen you in the park chatting with him. You can correct JD because he took his hot or warm breakfast and made it cold. But where are you? Are you in the park helping this person? Are you bringing this person lunch? Like I said, it's easy to hide behind the social media, and this person clearly knows how to get under your skin. Okay? And what should be under your skin is, I'm sorry you feel that way. Not fuck you. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry that's the only thing you took out of something that made this person feel good and helped educate other people not to judge them. If that's all you got out of it, go back and watch it again and learn something.
I just dropped the link to that episode on Tuesday.
But that episode is done, JD, and there's so many other people who need to understand and learn more. And you're helping people learn that. If we're going to be such a tight community because we're a small town, okay, then let's expose what's safe, what's not safe. Let's expose the dangers and what's not danger. And this person sitting on a park bench eating pancakes because they can't afford to buy themselves breakfast is not a danger. It's a, hey, people, when you see this person, understand this person and be kind. Okay? That's what you taught that day. And for anybody who doesn't like that, I'm sorry you feel that way. Have a great day. And if you'd like to talk about it more, come on down and let's talk about it. And I won't judge you, but don't judge me. Okay? Because the one person who sent you this long, long message, all they kept doing was preaching God and preaching understanding and love and all this stuff to you. But everything they said was no love and understanding to you directly. It was judgmental, which is not the preachings. Okay? Our Lord and Savior didn't teach us to preach and judge. He taught us to love one another and understand one another. And that's a hard thing to swallow sometimes, because people do things to us and it's hard for us to understand. But don't judge, especially if you don't know the person. So that's my take on that. And for those of you listening today that are saying, Jesus Christmas, G, what the hell? Get off your soapbox. I'm not on a soapbox. I'm here to educate that there's going to be stories that we're going to talk about that are positive and stories that we're going to talk about that are negative. There are times I put the show on and you have something on and that doesn't interest me and I shut it off. I don't criticize and say, hey, JD, you shouldn't have done that because that bored me. I just turn it off and I put it on the next day, and if it's something that interests me, I watch it. Okay, you people go through your Netflix and everything else and you don't watch what you don't like and you watch what you like. If you don't like a topic, don't judge it. Just turn it off. Move on. And you, JD, allowing it to eat at you, that's something you need to work with. It's not our fault that you're eating it that way. If you don't like it, spit it out and go for something else. But don't let that one thing dictate how food tastes, because it may taste like broccoli and you don't like broccoli, so don't eat it. That's all. That's my take on it. You heard it here first, folks.
I didn't even really want to go on the air this morning.
I know. You told me. I'm not really thinking that I want to go on the air today. And I said, if you don't want to, that's fine. Yeah. But if you want to, let's air out what people's comments can do to somebody. Let's let people know to choose your words wisely. Because one word, just one word, could really tear somebody down. And that word for you was exploit. When that person said you exploited, that sunk you. Now pick yourself back up and say, you know what? I know I didn't exploit it, and those who know me know I didn't exploit. So that was their opinion. I'm sorry you feel that way. That wasn't my intention. Move on. That's it. That doesn't control your life. All right, you got a beautiful girl at home that you can't wait to see. You've got a beautiful wife at home that cooks and cleans for you and tells you when you're wrong. And you know when she tells you you're wrong that it's true. So why are you making a stranger tell you you're wrong be the end-all, be-all? Because they're not. Now, when I tell you you're wrong, I'm always right.
Thank you for telling me this morning.
It's just a fact. And I challenge that person and anybody else who doesn't agree to grow up and have the conversation. And don't hide behind social media, because that's too damn easy. That's a coward's way. I really think that that's a coward's way. The one thing I hate more than anything is texts and stuff, because it gives people the power to say what they're thinking, instead of just being honest with the person directly. And they put it out there for everybody to see to make them feel self-righteous.
That's one thing about you, buddy, is we know where you stand.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm sitting, but
Thank you for coming on the air with me.
I love you, buddy, and keep doing what you're doing, because then I have no place to go on Thursdays if you don't.
I love you too.
Peace out.
Thanks, G.